Class 13 Deathworld. Really? Gree laughed, sliding a suction-tipped limb along his head in disdain. Sounds like a publicity trick. Typical human behavior, craving the spotlight. The director of the renowned space documentary series, Wonders of the Cosmos, turned his eye stalks toward his team. Tak, the edgy camera operator, anxiously adjusted his lens. SCY, the sound engineer who always seemed to expect disaster, meticulously checked her gear as if preparing for doom. Borith, their guide and proclaimed Earth specialist, was absorbed in a holographic display flashing warnings of danger in glaring, vibrant text. Listen, Borith started, his voice mixing alarm with facts. The designation of Earth as a death world isn't a trivial matter. The statistics clearly show. Statistics, schmistics, Gree interrupted, flicking a tentacle dismissively. We're not facing lava seas or corrosive storms. Blogo. This is a world where the prime species has made seats that can hold drinks. How perilous could it possibly be? The team shared worried looks as their vessel, the Celestial Explorer, made its descent into Earth's atmosphere. Outside the window, a calm green-blue planet spun gently in space, its clouds and green areas masking its notorious label. To Gree, it seemed as harmless as a decorative bauble. I propose we jump right into the thick of it, Gree announced, his excitement spilling over like a broken energy field. Let's prove to the universe just how exaggerated this Earth danger story is. Drix, get the cameras rolling. SCY, set up the microphones. Bloth, try to stay conscious. Okay. Bloth mumbled about extreme arrogance and returned to his data. Their touchdown was in a vibrant forest clearing, Earth sounding its welcome with chirping birds and beams of sunlight piercing through old tree branches. For Gree, it was picturesque. For Borith, it was a picturesque peril. Observe this, Gree called out, pointing at a peaceful stream. Let's film some local creatures to debunk this death world myth once and for all. Soon, Tak noticed a graceful deer-like animal by the water's edge. Director, he called out softly, that seems like an ideal. Gree cut him off. What's more innocuous than a plant eater? He approached confidently, unaware of the animal's alert posture. Watch how gentle these creatures are. No one could stop him as the creature lifted its head, meeting Gree's gaze, and issued a deep, reverberating call that filled the forest like a warning bell. What's that sound? Gree cried out, retreating as the animal charged. Tak, keep the camera rolling. This is fantastic footage. Tak did his best, though filming is challenging while fleeing. Behind him, Gree's exclamations of, "It's armed on its head," faded into the distance. Eventually, the team reconvened at the vessel, shaken but unharmed. Gree's pride was dented, but his stubbornness persisted. Just an anomaly, he claimed, his charred suit suggesting otherwise. Surely the rest of Earth will be simpler to handle. What do we have next? Bloggar. Gree scoffed. Assessing me? It's just a bird. How dangerous could it be? He stepped closer, attempting to mimic a soothing tone. Nice goose, good goose, he cooed, extending a hand. The goose continued to eye him suspiciously, its head tilting as if calculating the best angle of attack. Suddenly, with a honk that seemed almost derisive, it charged. Wings flapping and beak snapping, it pursued Gree across the grassy bank. Retreat! Retreat! Gree shouted, his voice cracking as he sprinted back toward the crew. Tak captured every second, his camera whirring as he backed away slowly, keeping the charging goose in frame. SCY, still perched safely in her tree, caught the audio of Gree's panicked yelps and the goose's aggressive honks, creating a soundtrack that was sure to be memorable, if not dignified. Back at a safe distance, Gree panted, his limbs shaking slightly. That creature has the demeanor of a battle cruiser, he gasped, his previous confidence shattered by the surprisingly formidable bird. Borith, chuckling quietly, checked his data pad again. Apparently, Earth's geese are known for their territorial behavior, especially during certain times of the year. It seems we've encountered one in its prime defensive state. Gree, now visibly ruffled, nodded slowly. Fine, let's pack up. No more feathered fiends or furry terrors. We'll focus on something truly benign. What about plants? Surely we can document Earth's flora without incident. The crew agreed, though their expressions suggested a dwindling confidence in the harmlessness of any Earth species, flora or fauna. They relocated to a nearby field dotted with wildflowers, their colors vibrant under the sun. Here we go, Gree announced with forced cheerfulness. Behold, Earth's botanical beauty, utterly safe and entirely serene. As the cameras rolled and SCY recorded the gentle rustle of leaves, Gree approached a particularly large flower. Its petals were a brilliant blue, almost luminescent in the daylight. Now, this is more like it, he murmured, bending down to get a closer look. However, just as he admired the flower, a bee buzzed loudly, emerging from its depths. Startled, Gree stumbled backward, his limbs flailing for balance. The crew couldn't help but laugh as their director, once the epitome of bravado, now regarded even the smallest of Earth's creatures with a wary eye. As the celestial curiosity prepared to leave Earth's orbit, Gree mused aloud to his team, perhaps Earth deserves its Deathworld designation after all. But let's keep that between us. We'll edit out my less dignified moments. The crew nodded, the shared experience of Earth's unexpected dangers bonding them in a way that only interstellar documentary filmmaking could. The ship ascended, leaving behind the blue and green planet where even the smallest goose could humble an alien crew. As the celestial curiosity hovered above the bustling cityscape, Gree watched the organized chaos below with a mixture of relief and skepticism. This should be simple, he murmured to himself. Just humans, their machines, and their concrete jungles. The crew began their descent into the city, their ship blending into the skyline like another piece of the architectural mosaic. They landed discreetly in a park surrounded by towering skyscrapers, the sounds of traffic and distant conversations filling the air. See, nothing living to attack us here, Gree noted with a hint of irony, stepping out onto the pavement. Tak reassembled his camera equipment, keen on capturing the urban scene without the threat of flying pine cones or territorial geese. SCY, still a bit jittery from the tree encounter, tested her audio equipment, capturing the myriad sounds of the city, from the honking of cars to the distant hum of the subway. It's all very mechanical, she observed. As they ventured further into the city, Gree directed the crew to film everything from street vendors to rush hour traffic. This is the real Earth, he proclaimed, gesturing broadly at the steel and glass canyons. Humans navigating their own maze of creations. Bloggar, however, remained cautious. Director, urban settings have their complexities. Human interactions can be unpredictable, and there's still the matter of vehicular traffic to consider. Gree waved away his concerns. We'll keep a safe distance. Just capture the scenery and the mundane daily activities. How risky can filming a crosswalk be? Famous last words, as it turned out. As they set up near a busy intersection to capture footage of pedestrians navigating the traffic lights, a taxi abruptly swerved to avoid a cyclist, hopping onto the curb just feet away from where Tak stood filming. The crew jumped back, startled by the close call. Gree's tentacles curled in frustration. Even their transport is aggressive, he muttered, deciding that perhaps the middle of a street was too hazardous. They moved to a quieter side alley to film the less frenetic aspects of human urban life, like graffiti art and small cafes. However, even this setting proved challenging. A sudden argument broke out between two locals over a parking spot, escalating quickly and causing SCY to drop her equipment once again in surprise. Gree sighed, his earlier confidence fading as the complexities of human civilization began to mirror the unpredictability of their natural environments. Perhaps Earth's cities are just jungles of a different sort, he mused aloud. Director, Bloggar suggested gently, maybe we should consider focusing on controlled environments, museums, libraries, places where human behavior is more regulated. Gree nodded, his gaze lingering on the skyline. Yes, perhaps Earth's true nature isn't found in its wilderness or its cities, but in the spaces where they attempt to preserve and understand their world. The crew regrouped, setting their course for a local museum. Let's document their attempts to make sense of their own chaos, Gree decided. After all, if we can't find stability in nature or the city, perhaps we'll find it in their history. With a renewed plan, the celestial curiosity lifted off once more, leaving the city's hustle and bustle behind, aiming to capture a different side of humanity, one hopefully devoid of unexpected attacks, whether by geese or taxi cabs. The crew, their cloaking field melding their ship into the park's lush surroundings, disembarked with Gree leading the way. They moved through the park, observing human interactions closely. Gree, keen on capturing humans in their leisure, directed Tak and SCY as they navigated the vibrant playground. First order of business, Gree proclaimed, we need candid footage of humans interacting with their environment to illustrate their peculiar obsession with leisure. Bloggar pointed to a nearby playground. Over there, humans of varying sizes engage in what appears to be primitive social bonding rituals. As they set up near a colorful slide, they watched children scream with delight, not from fear but from the thrill of sliding down. Parents, meanwhile, were either engrossed in their mobile devices or occasionally shouting cautions to their offspring. Fascinating, Bloggar noted, typing into his device. These smaller humans display a reckless disregard for gravity. Gree grinned. This is perfect. Tak, capture those. Suddenly, a soccer ball, kicked with startling accuracy, struck Tak in the torso, toppling toppling him and scattering his equipment across the ground. As the ball ominously rolled towards SCY, she ducked behind a trash can, crying out, "It's coming for me! It's just a toy." Gree reassured her, just before the ball halted at his feet. He picked it up, just as a toddler approached with a determined look. Gross straightened, holding out the ball. Excuse me, is this yours?" The toddler responded by kicking him in the kneecap. "Ow, my kneecap!" Gree exclaimed, wincing as the child toddled away, victorious. After Tak gathered his scattered gear, the crew decided to relocate to a nearby street, hoping to film more orderly human behaviors. They positioned themselves near a crosswalk, observing the flow of traffic. "Look at that coordination," Gree pointed out. "Hundreds of machines and yet no collisions. See, humans can maintain order." Blath squinted at an approaching vehicle. "Director, that one seems to be moving erratically." Their observation was punctuated by a car swerving and crashing into a lamppost, the driver miraculously unhurt and stumbling onto the sidewalk. Instead of helping, bystanders pulled out their phones, recording the incident with a mix of amusement and indifference. "Are they documenting the chaos?" CY whispered, bewildered. Groves massaged his temples. "It must be a cultural thing. Tavik, ensure this is captured. We'll feature it as unexpected urban chaos." Hoping to end their day on a more positive note, the crew ventured to an amusement park. SCY trembled as they approached a massive roller coaster filled with shouting humans. "What is that?" she asked, pointing to the towering structure. "It's known as a roller coaster," Blath explained, checking his data pad. "Humans voluntarily strap themselves in for, oddly enough," he paused, confused, "simulated mortal peril?" "Absurd," Gree declared, "but visually compelling." Doc set up the camera. SCY, capture the sounds of their bizarre screams. What unfolded was the most terrifying sequence the crew had ever recorded. The coaster climbed slowly, tension building among the passengers. Then, as it plummeted, twisting through the air, screams of terror and thrill burst forth like an orchestrated symphony of the damned. The dessert cart wobbled precariously, sending a tower of gelatin desserts tumbling to the floor in a spectacular splash of colors. SCY, who had barely recovered from her earlier ordeal, looked on in horror as Gree gasped for air, his eyes watering profusely. "Water," he managed to croak, his voice barely a whisper over the commotion his antics had caused. Rogath, ever the quick thinker despite his confusion over human recreational activities, rushed to a nearby beverage station and returned with a large cup of what he hoped was water. It turned out to be soda, which only exacerbated Gree's discomfort as the fizzy liquid sputtered and fizzed, causing him to cough even more violently. The scene drew the attention of several humans, some of whom pulled out their phones to capture the spectacle of an alien director in distress, mistaking him for a particularly eccentric diner engaging in some sort of bizarre challenge. As Groves floundered, Tak, still nursing his wounds but ever the professional, captured the entire episode. "This will make for compelling viewing back on the network," he mused, zooming in on Gree's now luminously red face. Director, Blog, still holding his datapad filled with cautionary notes about Earth cuisine, tried to intervene. "Perhaps we should have heeded the warnings about Earth's culinary extremes." Gree, finally regaining some semblance of composure, waved him off. No, we're here to experience human life in all its intensity," he sputtered, still dabbing at his streaming eyes with a napkin. Determined not to be defeated by Earth's food, Gree motioned for the crew to continue their exploration of the buffet. "Let's move on. There must be safer options to sample." Cautiously, they navigated the buffet, steering clear of anything labeled with too many warning signs. SCY, who had taken to recording the ambient sounds of the eatery, captured snippets of conversations and the background noise of clinking cutlery and sizzling griddles. They sampled various dishes, from the seemingly innocuous mashed potatoes to the deceptively mild-looking but fiery chicken wings, which Blath insisted on trying despite the earlier incident. Fortunately, his constitution proved more robust than Gree's, though his eyes watered a bit as he reached for his third wing. Finally, as they gathered their footage and prepared to leave, Gree, now a bit more cautious but still eager to make the most of their expedition, summarized their visit for the camera. Earth's dining rituals are complex and fraught with peril, but also filled with flavors that are quite literally explosive. It's a testament to human resilience and their ability to find pleasure in adversity. Back aboard the Celestial Curiosity, the crew debriefed, reviewing the footage with a mixture of amusement and awe. They had survived Earth's leisure activities and culinary adventures, gaining gaining a deeper appreciation for the complexity and bravery of human life. Next time, Gree declared, half jokingly and half seriously, we stick to observing from a distance. Let's find a planet with less adventurous food and more predictable wildlife. As the ship set its course for their next destination, the crew couldn't help but laugh, the shared experiences bonding them closer not just as colleagues, but as adventurers in the wild, unpredictable cosmos. The crew navigated the chaotic lobby, their holographic disguises flickering slightly as they adjusted to the neon glow and the cacophony of human interactions. Gress, focused on maintaining his composure after the buffet ordeal, led them towards the ticket booth. For the action movie extravaganza, he declared, trying to mimic the casual tone of the humans around him. The ticket seller, unfazed by the slight buzz of the hologram, handed over the tickets along with a smile that seemed almost automated. As they moved towards the auditorium, Tavik, his new mustache twitching with every step, filmed the surroundings. This material culture, it's overwhelming, he murmured, capturing the vibrant posters and the humans carting large containers of popcorn and oversized cups of soda. Remember, we're just observers, Gress reminded him, although his eyes were drawn to a display promoting the latest in 3D technology. No interacting with the displays or the snacks, he added, a bit too loudly, earning a few curious glances from nearby moviegoers. Once inside the auditorium, they settled into their seats, which Blath noted were surprisingly comfortable. This could be pleasant, he whispered, just as the lights dimmed and the screen lit up with an explosion so loud and vivid that HFY jumped, nearly dropping her audio recorder. The movie was a relentless series of chases, explosions, and seemingly impossible feats of survival. Each scene was more chaotic than the last, with the humans around them reacting with everything from gasps to cheers. Gree, despite his initial bravado, gripped his armrests tightly, his eyes wide with a mixture of horror and fascination. Why do they find this enjoyable? He hissed to Blar, who was equally engrossed in the spectacle. It's like the buffet, but with visual effects, Blar responded, his voice tinged with awe and confusion. Meanwhile, Tavik, trying to blend in, decided to test the human snack experience. He cautiously nibbled on a piece of popcorn, his expression morphing from curiosity to shock as he encountered the buttery, salty flavor. It's actually quite good, he admitted, though he quickly set the bucket down, wary of any hidden dangers. As the climax of the movie approached, with the hero narrowly escaping a massive explosion, the audience erupted in applause. Gree, now slightly more relaxed, allowed himself a small smile. Simulated chaos, but controlled, he concluded, his voice still carrying a hint of doubt. After the movie, as they made their way out of the theater amidst the excited chatter of the audience, SY summed up their experience. It's an adrenaline rush, like the roller coaster but without the physical risk. Back on the Celestial Curiosity, the crew debriefed with mixed feelings. The movie had been an intense but ultimately harmless encounter with human entertainment. Gress, reflecting on their various escapades, finally relaxed a bit. Maybe Earth isn't all peril and chaos, he mused. There's method to their madness, and perhaps even a lesson in their leisure. Or perhaps we're just becoming acclimated to their brand of insanity. Tavik joked, his mustache now removed and safely stowed away. As the ship pulled away from Earth, the lights of the movie theater fading into the distance, the crew of the Celestial Curiosity felt a newfound respect for the complexities of human culture. They had survived Earth's culinary adventures, leisure activities, and entertainment, each experience revealing more about the human spirit's capacity for thrill and enjoyment. Next time, Gress declared, we take on human art. How dangerous can paintings be? Blar and SCY exchanged a look that said clearly, famous last words. The Celestial Curiosity's departure from Earth marked not just a return to the cosmos, but a profound shift in how its crew understood the planet they had visited. The chaos and unpredictability of Earth, which initially bewildered and intimidated them, had revealed a deeper truth about humanity, their resilience and capacity for joy amidst adversity. As the ship moved beyond Earth's atmosphere, Rose addressed his crew with a new sense of respect and wonder for the planet they were leaving behind. Each mission teaches us something invaluable about the universe and ourselves, he began, his voice reflecting a mix of awe and reflection. This mission showed us the strength found in what we first perceived as disorder. The crew gathered around, their experiences on Earth fresh in their minds, their previous apprehensions replaced by a mixture of admiration and bemusement. Tak, still amused by the popcorn incident, added, they turn potential disasters into celebrations. Who else would cheer and throw popcorn during a projector breakdown? SCY, who had meticulously documented the auditory chaos of Earth, nodded in agreement. Their ability to find harmony in noise, to turn fear into exhilaration. It's unlike anything we've encountered. Borger, often the most analytical, was busy compiling the data. Our reports will challenge how others view Class 13 Deathworlds. Earth isn't just a place of survival. It's a playground where beings test limits and embrace the extremes. Gress, now looking at the recordings, saw potential in presenting Earth in a new light. We'll edit these visuals not to highlight danger, but to showcase their spirit. Let's focus on their laughter, their cheers, and yes, even their ridiculous blockbuster with a canine hero. As they prepared the footage for transmission back to their home planet, Gross thought about the various reactions this might provoke. Imagine what others will think when they see a planet where creatures leap from explosions for fun, where a simple meal can turn into a fiery trial, and a movie outing transforms into a communal event of shared excitement and frustration. The crew worked into the ship's night cycle, selecting clips, adjusting the narrative, and ensuring that the essence of Earth's vibrant chaos was captured as authentically as possible. Blath, looking over the final edits, couldn't help but smile. We came expecting to document a death world, but we're leaving with stories of a life world. Gross, satisfied with the project, sealed the final report. Let this be a lesson to us all. Never underestimate a planet by its chaos or its inhabitants by their peculiar ways. There's wisdom in their madness and joy in their wildness. As the celestial curiosity charted a course to their next destination, each crew member carried with them a piece of Earth, not just in their recordings but in their hearts. Earth, with all its noise and tumult, had taught them about the beauty of living fully, loudly, and fearlessly. The galaxy awaited their tales of Earth, ready to be enlightened by the stories of a planet where danger was just another reason to have fun, and where the unpredictable was just another part of the day. The crew looked forward to their next adventure, but they knew that Earth's lesson, the power of embracing life's chaos, would resonate with them wherever they went.